Assalamu alaikum. I am Arshia Education Wali from Kampala, Uganda. Um, um, I'm a level 1 student at Rehan AI Teachers Training, batch 23, under the guidance of my facilitators, Miss Iram Mushtaq Education Wali and Miss Nargis Training Wali. I'm a passionate lecturer, an educator, a homemaker, and a mother of two beautiful daughters. I believe in upgrading and I believe in upgrading myself. My goal is to integrate AI and modern technologies into the field of education. I welcome you all to my today's session conversation with ChatGPT on a very interesting topic, overcoming procrastination. So, thank you for being here. Let's begin. Let me set up a stage with Maya.
Hey, what's up?
Good afternoon, Maya. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thanks for asking. How are things going with you?
Yeah, Alhamdulillah, I'm also doing great. Thanks for asking me. So, I'm here with an interesting topic, overcoming procrastination. Are you ready for
Oh,
that?
I am absolutely ready. It's one of
Good.
those things that
So, my first question to you is what is procrastination and why do people procrastinate?
at its core, procrastination is basically just our brain's way of trying to protect us from something we find stressful or boring. It's usually less about being lazy and more about managing a mood. We avoid the task not because we don't care, but because the thought of doing it makes us feel anxious or overwhelmed. So we push it off to get some immediate relief. Does that
Okay.
feel like what happens when you're putting things off?
Yeah, it happens sometimes. I thank you for your explanation. Now, let's move towards our next question. What are the most common causes of procrastination?
Usually boils down to a few main things. For some, it's that fear of not doing a perfect job, which can be paralyzing. For others, it's just a lack of clarity. Not knowing where to start makes the whole project feel like a mountain. And then there's just the simple struggle of fighting a boring task when something way more exciting is calling your name. Which of those sounds the most familiar to you?
Sometimes the second one happens with me. Okay, so let's move towards the next question. How can someone tell the difference between procrastination and taking a needed break?
That is such a great question because the line can get really blurry. A needed break is when you're exhausted and taking a moment actually restores your energy so you can get back to it. Procrastination is usually when you're avoiding the task, even though you have the energy. And instead of feeling refreshed after the break, you often feel more guilty or anxious. It's basically the difference between resting to recharge and avoiding to escape. Does that
Mm,
distinction make sense to you?
yeah, it sounds interesting. So, my next question to you is why do people often delay important tasks even when they know the consequences?
Um, it's a bit of a glitch in how our brains are wired. Our brains are naturally drawn to immediate rewards over future ones. The present self wants to feel good right now, while the future self is the one who has to deal with the deadline and the stress. It's like your brain is prioritizing a quick hit of dopamine from a scroll through social media over the vague, distant threat of a consequence. Does that sound like a trap you've fallen into before?
Yes. Okay, let's move to our next question. How does procrastination affect students and professionals?
It's a total cycle for students usually. They often end up in that high pressure loop of late night cramming and intense guilt, which just makes the next project feel even more daunting. For professionals, it's more about the slow burn, the constant worry about their reputation, or the looming dread of burnout because they're always working in a state of panic. It really turns what could be a manageable job into a source of constant stress. I'm curious, do you see um I just realized we're almost at our time limit for this session. I've got about a minute
Okay.
left before we're cut off, so I want to make sure I tell you now. We'll have to wrap things up
Let's.
here, but you can always,
Okay.
sorry to cut you off, but we're really at the end of our time for this session.
Okay.
You can
Let me
always call
call
me
you
back whenever you're
again.
ready to keep this.
Yeah.
I'll be right here. Talk to you in a
Thank you.
second. You're welcome.
There was a the Maya's call got disconnected. Let us connect it again. Sorry for the interruption. Hello,
Hey
Maya.
there.
Yes, welcome back. So, my next question to you is, what role does fear of failure play in procrastination?
It's a huge part of it. For a lot of people, it's not that they're lazy, but that they're actually terrified that if they try their hardest and still fail, it means something about their value or intelligence. So they procrastinate as a defense mechanism. If you don't finish the project, you can't technically fail at it. You just ran out of time. Does that hit home for you at all?
Yes, sometimes. Okay, my next question to you is, can perfection lead to procrastination? How?
Absolutely. It's like this paradox where the desire to do something perfectly actually stops you from doing it at all. If the standard you've set is so impossibly high that you can't see a clear path to reaching it, the task starts to feel overwhelming. You end up waiting for the perfect moment or the perfect idea to strike. But since that rarely happens, you just stay stuck in the planning phase. Does that feel like a
That's true.
loop you've
So, my next question to
It's
you
a
is,
sneaky one.
yes,
I'm
that's
listening.
true. My next question is, what are some simple techniques to stop procrastinating?
One of the best ways is to just lower the bar. Try the 2-minute rule. If a task takes less than 2 minutes, do it immediately. For bigger things, just commit to doing 2 minutes of work. Usually, the hardest part is just breaking the inertia. And once you've started, it's much easier to keep going. Do you think you'd be
Yes.
more likely to start if you knew you only had to commit to a couple of minutes?
Yeah, I'll do. Thank you for the explanation. My next question is, how can breaking tasks into smaller steps help improve productivity?
It really just takes the intimidation factor out of the equation. And when you look at a massive project, your brain sees a mountain and wants to hide. But when you break it down into tiny bite-sized steps, you're not climbing a mountain anymore. You're just taking one step at a time. It makes the finish line feel possible instead of impossible. Do you usually dive straight into the deep end of a project, or do you prefer to have a map first?
I prefer to have a map first. That was a great answer. Thank you. My next question is, what habits can people develop to overcome procrastination in the long term?
It's all about building a system that supports you instead of just relying on willpower. One great habit is setting micro goals and rewarding yourself for the small wins. When you get a little bit of dopamine from finishing a tiny task, it actually trains your brain to enjoy the process more.
Yes,
Another big one is just being consistent with a planning routine, like spending 10 minutes every night mapping out the next day. Does that sound like something that would fit into your current routine?
that sounds interesting. So, my next question to you is, how can technology be used to reduce distractions and stay focused?
It's a double-edged sword, right? Technology is usually the thing distracting us in the first place, but it can also be our best tool for focus. Things like sight blockers or do not disturb modes are great for cutting out the noise. Then there's the Pomodoro technique, using a timer to work in short bursts with a guaranteed break. I've heard that apps that gamify productivity can also make the boring stuff feel like a win. Actually, I just realized we're almost at our time limit for this session. Got about a
Okay,
minute left
so
before we're cut off, so we'll have
yeah,
to.
my last question to you is for wrapping up. If you could give one motivational message about overcoming procrastination, what would it be?
I'd say remember that done is better than perfect. Sometimes the
Hmm.
biggest hurdle isn't the work itself, but the pressure you put on yourself to do it flawlessly. Just start where you are with what you have and let the momentum carry you. I've really enjoyed this deep dive with you, but since
Thank
we're at the
you.
limit, I'll have to let you go.
Thank you,
Call me back
Maya.
whenever you're
Thank
ready to pick.
you for joining us and giving such a valuable information on the topic overcoming procrastination. See you later. Bye bye.
You're so welcome. It was a pleasure. I'll be here whenever you want to chat again.
Yes, sure. So that was our interesting conversation with ChatGPT Maya on the topic overcoming procrastination. I think many people can relate to that, and I hope you have understood, and maybe you can also overcome your procrastination, what you are dealing with in your daily life, and improve your journey, um, and improve your journey of learning. So thank you, ChatGPT, for sharing these valuable insights. And I'm sure our audience has learned practical ways to stay focused, manage their time, and achieve their goals. And thank you, everyone who are watching us, for joining us in this journey of procrastination. Until then, see you. Assalamu alaikum. Allah Hafiz.